Since acquiring the rights to WWE, 2K has put out 13 video games, and today we're going to rank them from best to worst. The 3 criteria I'm going to rank them on are going to be on the quality of the game itself, how much they change from year to year, so not just a roster update, but how much actual meaningful change the game made, and then how much fun the game was to play, how many good memories I have with it, just an overall, did I have fun with the game. And before we get into the rankings, if you like wrestling content like this, subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the videos. It helps the channel grow, and mention in the comment section below how you would rank these games. Starting off first with 2K14, this was the first game they put out, and they absolutely nailed this one. A couple key features they had in this game: they had the 30 years of WrestleMania showcase from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 30. That was a really cool idea. It was the first kind of showcase mode they've done outside of, a road to WrestleMania, so a new kind of opportunity for them, and I really think this was the best one they've ever done. They also had the defeat the streak and like defend the streak mode, where the Undertaker, and you're trying to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he's like super maxed out stats, super hard to beat. It was so much fun to try and beat Undertaker, or you play as the Undertaker and you try to defend the streak. Some other key moments or key adjustments they made to this game were the OMG moments, where you could have the ring break or a spear through the barricade. Super fun stuff on there, and they also made the game faster overall, so faster movements, faster grapples, and just made it more of a upbeat kind of game, more arcadey. And then also for universe mode, they included rivalry manager, so you could make your own rivalries, and then you kind of have not just normal matches, you actually have rivalries and actions for them, and that was an awesome adjustment. And then for creations, they had up to 100 creation slots for superstars, which was a lot more compared to the previous games. So for that, 2K14 is an easy S tier. After starting at such a high note, they did end up taking a step back with 2K15. This one was held back by being half on last gen, half on new gen, so they really didn't have a ton of changes, and they weren't really focused all on one system, but they did introduce a couple of new things. Like, this was the first time that in my career it was in a WWE video game. They also kept with the 2K showcase, but instead of doing just like the 30th WrestleMania, they had 2 rivalries. They had CM Punk and John Cena. They had Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, and their whole kind of career of their matches together. But in the DLC, they had 3 DLC showcase modes, which is new. They did Christian versus Randy Orton, the Hall of Pain of Mark Henry, and he is the World Heavyweight Champion, then also the Ultimate Warriors run. So that was cool. They had DLC as showcase modes. I personally don't really care for showcase mode as much anymore. It was cool to see the matches, but after a while I'm kind of just done with it. So the DLC being on the showcase mode kind of missed for me. They did have a new chain grapple system, which was nice, but when they introduced one step forward of chain grappling, they did take a little bit of creation suite away. They removed some stuff that we'll talk about in 2K16 they added back. So a lackluster creation suite, not as much fun. I remember buying this game, physical game. I go home, have to put my Xbox One, and it just took the entire night. It took like 12 hours to install. I couldn't even play it till the next day, and I don't have a lot of fond memories of this game, so for that, 2K15 is going to go in the D category. Now for 2K16, this has Stone Cold Steve Austin on the cover, so the showcase was all about the Austin 316 era. Now speaking of the creation suite adjustments they took out of 15, they added back to 16. That was create a diva, create an arena, and create a championship. So I don't know why I took it out of 15, but they added it back to 16, so that's a nice adjustment there. They also had some new pin mechanics. They also limited reversals. They had the largest roster of all time up until this point, over 120 superstars, as well as you can now break out during entrances to attack beforehand. So a lot of cool changes. It's definitely a step in the right direction, but it didn't change overall too much. I don't have a ton of fond memories of it. It wasn't the most fun gameplay. The showcase was all right. It was super nice to have the roster of 120, but you're also splitting between a lot of Attitude Era and a lot of modern people. So because of that, it is going to go into the C tier for me. Now with 2K17, we're still on the last gen consoles like Xbox 360. I believe it was the last one on those consoles, but they had a revamped creation suite with more available to create and more slots available. They had a highlight replay system and an in-depth promo system for cutscenes and for my career and for universe mode, as well as they introduced the backstage brawls and really revamped that, as well as a new table grapple mechanics. That way you could place an opponent on a table and you could do moves through tables, not just have to hopefully land next to them. Because of that, they didn't update a ton to it, so I can't justify putting in the B tier. The upgrades that they made were very nice and I liked seeing them, but again, it's being held back by being on Xbox 360 and PS3, so it's going to have to go right in the C tier next to 16. 2K18 with Seth Rollins on the cover is one of my favorites of all time. This kind of got me falling back in love with wrestling video games. So we had a lull of 15 and 16 and 17 kind of weren't the best after the high of 2K14. I loved 13, I even loved 12, but then 2K18 really brought me back on there. The biggest thing was they introduced 8-man match capabilities, Up until this point, you can only have 6 people in the ring, so Elimination Chamber, you could do a 3-on-3 tag match, but now you can do a 4-on-4 tag match. So really help like Survivor Series elimination style matches, and just having extra people in the ring, 4-on-4s, you can do different tag team matches. I loved this addition. Along with this, there's a new carry and grapple system, so you can kind of grab someone and then you can choose how you want to carry them, like a power bomb, like an attitude adjustment, and then they have a way updated graphics system. That way, being on the new gen, it could really utilize all that hardware, and had a couple years with 15 and 16, 17 to kind of play around with it, but really dedicate it all to 2K18. It looked phenomenal. They also had an online Road to Glory for My Player mode. I never really played this, but it was a cool addition to it, and for that, 2K18 has to go in S tier. Now with 2K19, I think fans might very much agree that 2K19 might be the best wrestling game since like Here Comes the Pain. They had a showcase mode featured fully on Daniel Bryan, and I absolutely adore Daniel Bryan. I think there was 11 playable versions of him. They added the new payback system, so mid-match you could do like a low blow, you could do a rollout, you could do like an adrenaline rush. There's a lot of cool things added there that made the actual gameplay super fun. For Universe mode, they added up to 6 different championships to be able on each show. That was super cool, as well as different kind of other quality of life adjustments, like the CPU can now cash in Money in the Banks and a lot of stuff like that. And because of that, 2K19 might have the best gameplay of any game they've ever put out, and so I have to put it in the S tier. As it comes to no shocker, 2K20 goes in the F tier. It tried so much, but it just released poorly. It couldn't run right. It was laggy. It was glitchy. What they tried to do was they put a 2K showcase of the 4 Horsewomen. They added like mixed gender tag matches, a male and female in my career. They did a whole new control system, and the DLC was absolutely awful. It was called 2K Originals, and it was a live service fantasy themed DLCs, like a Spartan gear, like a Roman gear, like a Halloween gear. It was really like awful. Give me new characters, don't give me versions of characters I don't want to play as. And again, the state this game released in was so bad and the reception was so poor that 2K had to sit out the next year, so there was no 2K21 to focus on making a game even better than this. I mean, it was not hard to make a game better than this. Personally, I enjoy fun over like realism, so I had some fun with it, but it is still a terrible, terrible game, easily in the F tier. Next is Battlegrounds, and it is going to join 2K20 in the F tier. Now, I really had high hopes for this because I love WWE All-Stars, my favorite wrestling game of all time, and it did not live up to it. Just the gameplay was slow, gameplay was just kind of clunky. I didn't like the system of upgrading and unlocking characters. It just was not fun, and if you bought this, you deserve a refund for it. It was just bad, just a terrible game. I couldn't even have fun with it, so that's why it's in the F tier. After that 2-year break where they skipped 2K21 is 2K22 with Rey Mysterio on the cover. This one was onto the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Now, what they did with this, because they had brand new hardware to work on, they had a new gameplay engine and new controls, so how we are feeling with now 2K26, this started in 2K22. They had a huge visual upgrade. They had a showcase based on Rey Mysterio's career. They added My Rise, they added My GM back, and they added My Faction. My GM, it was brought back really kind of bare bones. You couldn't do a lot. You kind of just like, oh, here's the absolute like bare minimum of My GM. So that wasn't as cool, but it was cool to have it back. My Rise is just My Career with a different title, a little more substance to it. My Faction is just Ultimate Team, and I like Ultimate Team modes in like Madden and FIFA, and you have like NBA. It does not work for me in wrestling games. I'm not sure why. I'm sure there's a lot of people who like playing it. People spend a lot of money on it, but it just never really worked for me. So because of all the upgrades they made, I am going to put it in the B tier because it did make a lot of right steps in the right direction, but it's still held back by just a little bit of bare bones of the actual game modes, like the GM mode and My Faction and My Rise. It didn't hit as much for me. Now, 2K23 was a lot better than 2K22 in my opinion. They had another year on the new system and new graphics, and what they did is they included War Games, which War Games mode is so much fun, been a great feature of that, but they also the updated My GM, so they're adding more championships, adding more match types, adding more stipulations, so the My GM in 2K23 is so much better than 2K22, as well as the Cena showcase. So we had Rey Mysterio last year, John Cena was in 2K23, and the really cool thing about this was, up until this point, if it's the Daniel Bryan showcase, Rey Mysterio showcase, you're always playing as that character. It gets repetitive. For John Cena's, you're playing through all his losses. You're playing through matches he lost. You're playing at Money in the Bank 2011. You're playing as CM Punk. you're playing against SummerSlam against AJ Styles, you're playing as AJ Styles. I thought it was a really cool and unique way to do it, and I actually enjoyed playing it a lot more than probably any other showcase outside of like 30 years of WrestleMania. So because of all that, they also add the online Royal Rumble mode, which is kind of fun. So I'm gonna give 2K23 in the A tier. I do think it's a lot better than 2K22. 2K24 had Cody Rhodes on the cover, and this one also made a lot of good changes. It added 4 new match types: the ambulance match, casket match. It had the special guest referee match and the gauntlet match. Special guest referee is the best out of all of those. It had a 40 years of WrestleMania showcase, just like 2K14 had 30 years of WrestleMania. It had a throwable weapons, which is super cool. So no new weapon engine system, so you could throw the weapons. It had 4-player backstage brawls. It had super finishers. It had a trading blows mechanic. They did a lot to make the gameplay of this one the best as it's been under the series outside of 2K19, and a lot of it was better than 2K23, but I can't put it up against 2K19, 2K18 for me, so 2K24 is going to go in the A tier. Now, 2K25 did add a lot of content, however, for me personally, it didn't just sit well with me. So it added the island, which is almost like the My Career of NBA 2K, where you go to like the park and the My World, the My City, whatever it is. It was like that, where you have your created character, you go to different stores, you can wrestle matches here. It just didn't work well for me. I've tried it out. I didn't have a lot of fun with it, so the I was a huge miss for me. It did add online My Jam, which is cool. It had a unified female and male My Rise, which is alright. My Rise has never been for me either. Promos in Universe Mode were back, which is cool, but there's no text, so you're just watching a person with a mic in their hand. And they did add 8-person backstage brawls, which is really fun, but it felt like 2 steps forward and a step back. And personally, I'm sure people who like the island, this was great, could be S tier for them, but I never really got into it, so it is going to go into the B tier for me. And our latest addition, 2K26, with CM Punk on the cover, added 4 new matches. It's the Inferno match, the 3 Stages of Hell match, I Quit match, and the Dumpster match. All those really fun. It added a new reversal revamp system. It added stackable tables. It added thumbtacks, added other new weapons, and it added ragdoll physics and expanded on the backstage brawl mechanics they've been working on the past couple games. This is so much fun. The roster might not be as stacked as the others. It is a huge roster though. Looking at like Stone Cold on 2K16 saying it had 120, they're like way past that. So I do love the roster. The roster is great. There's a couple additions. I mean, it's not their fault that the roster isn't who I want. You can't have Adam Cole or Daniel Bryan anymore. I get it. So I can't blame them for the roster. But the actual gameplay of this, I think, is top notch. Since they came back, it's been better than 2K22 through 24, through 25. Sorry, I might even put it above 2K19. It's just so fun. It's so modern. So because of that, I love all of the gameplay of it. I love GM mode. I love the universe mode. I like the online additions to it. I think 2K26 is a almost perfect game, but it does have some problems. But man, the actual core gameplay when you're playing the game is just so fun. That's why I have to win the S tier. So this is my ranking of the 2K video games. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Leave a like on the video and subscribe for more.